Hey, what's up guys? Today we are going to talk about the Gator Method. It is a real estate investing strategy. It was created by Morby. Many of you might be familiar with Morby and his Sub 2 course. He teaches subject to financing and creative real estate investing. Pace has been a real estate investor for, as far as I know, decades, and he's done hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of real estate deals. We definitely have a lot of praise for what he's doing and his teachings. He's also got a TV show out there, Triple Digit Flip. But let's jump right into his newest training, which is the Gator Method. And the Gator Method is interesting. I heard about it, I didn't know what it was, and then I did a little research. So basically what the Gator Method is in a wholesale transaction, many wholesalers need earnest money to secure wholesale deals and to lock up contracts. Essentially what Pace has come up with is a lot of these wholesalers, they don't have the earnest money. So what Morby teaches is for his students to go out there and find wholesalers to partner with and essentially lend these wholesalers earnest money for their wholesale deals. And then the idea is that you would charge a premium interest rate, and when that deal closes, you'll get your money back plus 12, 15, 20% interest. It might even be higher than that. I'm not exactly sure how much interest he is recommending you collect, but that's really the gist of it. And what happens is that you partner with these wholesalers, these larger wholesalers who are doing a lot of volume, a lot of deals. You might be able to lend, 5, maybe 10 deals a month and just collect interest over and over and over again. The strategy makes a lot of sense. If you've got a little bit of cash laying around, you don't need a ton. Most of the time, earnest money deposit can be as little as $50, $100, up to 3, 4, 5 grand, depending on, the deal size and what the seller, and you negotiate. But if you have that kind of money laying around and you want to earn some high interest very quickly on your money, lending earnest money might make sense. Now, some of the pitfalls and some of the challenges that I see with this, well, there's a couple of them. First of all, a lot of wholesalers don't even put up earnest money on their wholesale deals. And we're here in Michigan. We do over 100 deals a year, and I would say that we're putting earnest money up maybe 10% of the time. We never lead with it. It's typically not something that the sellers will come back and ask for unless they're being represented by a realtor. It's possible, but what we find is most sellers, they don't need earnest money. They don't care that you didn't put earnest money up. And to be honest with you, earnest money is a little overrated in my opinion, especially if you're going to have some sort of inspection contingency in your contract. That earnest money deposit is almost always refundable if it doesn't pass inspections. And so as a wholesaler, we have that inspection period in our contract for our protection. So even if we did put up earnest money, we know that would become refundable if we were unable to find a partner buyer for a wholesale deal. Same thing with any real estate contract. It's always refundable if the property doesn't pass inspection, right? So again, earnest money, I think it's a little overrated, and that's why we don't even use it. I think that's one of the challenges is that you're going to have to find a wholesaler who is consistently putting up earnest money to secure his deals. Now, this might be a lot more common in some other states. Like I said, we wholesale here in Michigan. Maybe it's just not as common here, but I could definitely see, maybe in other larger cities, earnest money is more of a thing. And so there might be some opportunities there. The second risk I would say with lending earnest money is that you are essentially giving this wholesaler an unsecured loan. And so there's some risk that you may or may not be able to recover that debt. Now, I think there's some ways around that. I mean, as long as you're careful with who you work with, you see a copy of their contract, you understand their due diligence period, and when that earnest money becomes non-refundable, you have a little bit of hopefully some leverage there, and you can have good communication with this wholesaler and make sure that if they can't find a buyer for this deal, like, hey, we need to be diligent with our paperwork and make sure that we're getting our deposit back if we can't find a buyer or if it fails inspection or whatever the case may be. So, there are some ways to work around that, but at the end of the day, you're still kind of at the mercy of this wholesaler. If for some reason they default on the contract, you may lose that money. So I see that as a risk. Another issue I see with Gator lending is just being able to find these wholesalers. Like I said, there's already not very many people that are putting up earnest money. And even if they are, if it's a large wholesale operation, I'd be so shocked if they didn't have $1,000 laying around to put up, for a contract for EMD. Now, again, and maybe the strategy is that you're targeting smaller wholesalers, people who don't have any money and they're just getting into wholesaling for the first time, and they need earnest money. They need a loan for earnest money because they're dead broke. That may be the case. And the reviews, we have looked into the reviews for the course. They're mixed. There are some people that have had a lot of success doing this. Just like anything else, it's what you put into it, right? It's if you're out there grinding and you're networking and you're finding wholesalers and you're making those connections, then absolutely, I think you can make some money doing this. But I also think, you gotta be a little savvy. You gotta, again, be very thorough and make sure you understand who you're working with. Make sure that there's some level of trust there. Make sure you understand the contract, and make sure that earnest money is refundable if they can't find an end buyer for their wholesale deal. So those are kind of the key takeaways. Certainly there's a lot of people that are not happy with the program, and it's for mixed reasons. A lot of what we just talked about. Hard to find people to work with. But again, it's what are they putting into it? Are they out there networking, joining Facebook groups? Are they doing what it takes to find these buyers or find these wholesalers? It's like anything. You can certainly make money using the strategy. It certainly wouldn't be anything that I would try. I mean, we run a very successful wholesaling business. We are launching a coaching program as well on how to earn an additional $10,000 to $20,000 a month with only investing 5 to 10 hours a week. And so we're going to provide more details on that course in the description. But I recommend, if you're a newbie and you want to get into real estate investing and make some money as a real estate investor, I think the best place to start is a wholesaler. I think by far and away that's the best place to start. That is how you can start making money and earning income very quickly. And then from there, once you have some capital, there's so many different things you can do. You can start flipping houses, you can buy rental properties, you can build up your portfolio, you can get into development, you can buy land. I mean, you can go on and on, but you got to start somewhere. And really, I think wholesaling it's the cost of entry is so low. The profits are so large. I always recommend start wholesaling, and there is a right and a wrong way to do it. I teach the right way. I make sure that you're successful. Again, going back to Gator Lending, I have a lot of respect for Pace. He has built himself a phenomenal real estate investing business, a coaching business. In fact, I think he probably does more coaching than he does anything else right now. He's in the coaching space, and I get a ton of his ads, so he's very successful there. Gator Lending, again, I think it's an interesting strategy. I've never heard of it before. Can it work? Absolutely. I think it can. I think you can make money doing that. I don't think you're going to make a lot of money. I think again, if you're just making interest on EMD, I think that can only give you so many returns. I mean, if you're really looking for a passive source of income and maybe or have some money set aside that you're looking to add some, just earn some interest on, then absolutely, I think this is a great strategy. I don't know all the details of it, but from what I understand, loaning earnest money to wholesalers and maybe to people that flip houses too. I guess it could be to anybody. It doesn't have to be a wholesaler. There sounds like there is a market out there. There's enough people actually doing this. And we did have, for one of our deals last year, we had an investor who actually went out and got a loan for his earnest money. I had never heard of it before. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, you got a loan for your earnest money? And this was for a deal that we were assigning to him. And so now it makes sense. He probably used a Gator lender to fund his earnest money. Now that deal that buyer ended up falling. The deal fell through because the buyer couldn't buy it. He couldn't secure funding. He didn't have any of his own money. So again, kind of all goes back to the risk that you're taking. A lot of these people who are getting into wholesaling for the first time and they need a loan for earnest money, that there's a lot of red flags there, potential red flags. I'm not saying that everybody is going to be a red flag, or they're going to default on your small earnest money loan, but again, you really got to vet these people. You got to make sure that they know what they're doing. Read the contract, make sure you understand it. If it's somebody that you can trust and you can stay on top of it, make sure that they're doing what they say they're going to do and performing in that contract, the deal closes, you'll make your money, do it again. If you do find good partners, I would stick with those partners. Again, that's my take on Gator lending. I'd be curious to hear your comments. Maybe some of you are in the course. I'd love to hear feedback on it, but interesting concept, definitely can make money. I think there's a lot of risks, and at some point the market's going to become too saturated. I think with these Gator lenders, it might be hard to get into this if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe this video, and don't forget to leave a comment if you are familiar with Gator lending or if you have anything else to add.